We're focusing on your woods, and your answers indicate you have what we would call a pull, so a shot that starts to the left of target and then flies reasonably straight. You've also told us that your preference would be to play with a fade, so a shot that still starts slightly left but then curves back to the right towards the target. Your pull is caused by an out to in swing path where the club head is moving to the left of target through impact, and a square club face. When the club face points in the same direction as the club head is travelling, the ball will fly straight. With your fade, you will need an out to in swing path, but only slight, and then an open face. So the club face needs to point to the right of the direction of the swing, and when you have that, you'll have a curve to the right. So to change your pull to a slight fade, we need to make sure the out to in swing path is only very slight, and we need to make sure you have a slightly open face as well. So to start with, we're going to look at the swing path. We've got a stick here on the ground that's lined out just outside my toes and is parallel to my target line. Now, using this as a reference, what we'd like to notice is on the way down, the more we get the shaft angled inwards in relation to this stick, the more likely and the more severely we are going to swing from in to out. On the other hand, the more I get the club shaft angled outward in relation to that stick, the more likely and the more severely we would swing from out to in. Now, although we want an out to in swing, we want it to be very slight. So the first thing to note on the way down would be, can we get a reasonably neutral downswing? And a reasonably neutral downswing would have you place the club shaft on top of the stick so it's parallel to the target line. Once we have this, we can easily get our very slight out to in swing path with the release. And the release would be how we get the club to go from here into impact and through. So as the club approaches impact from a neutral downswing, it approaches from very slightly inside the target line. But it's in a position where it can very easily move around us on a slight arc that brings the club head around to straight and then off the target line back to the inside and up into the follow through. And it's this movement of the club head to the left of target or back to the inside that we want to mainly focus on as your feel. This is going to give you that very slight out to in swing path you need for the fade. So our two key points on the downswing are, one, let's make sure that it's a reasonably neutral downswing, and two, as you're swinging through impact, you're making sure the club head is moving to the left of target or back to the inside as it goes up into the follow through. Now, what we'd really like to do is use this feeling of moving the club back inside to delay the closing of the face so that it's slightly open for the fade we want. One of the key feelings of the club moving back in off the target line is that the body is rotating towards the target reasonably well. And that rotation drags the club to the inside. Now, if we look at that rotation of the body towards the target from face on, and we relate that to the club face, if I have a very slow body turn to the target, it's very easy for my hands to release the club early and square the face up. On the other hand, if I was to turn my body to the target a little bit more aggressively, the hands have a harder time releasing the club back to square, so it will actually come into impact open. So this feeling of the body turning towards the target through impact aggressively is going to help get the fade path, which is moving slightly left of target, and the slightly open face. So again, we've got two main feelings. The downswing would be a reasonably neutral delivery position, and then the release is mainly led by a good strong body turn to the target, which brings the club face into impact open and drags the club head back inside on its way through towards the follow through. So let's try and get these two things together. Neutral downswing, turn hard, drag the club back inside, and if we do that, we should have our fade.